brains are the size of their eyes. Even if they had left the forest pond, they would understand the world beyond. All they have known is tranquility. The waters of the pond have always been clear. The carp's minds are simple, but they understand that something is wrong. Chunks of hybrid flesh rain down, clouding the calm water with plumes of filth. All trace of sluggishness disappears from the carp. They crowd and push and panic in the corner of the pond that sits unbloodied. Only one thing swims in the shallow edge of the water: the gobbler's eye. The boys hide behind an overturned tree not far from the pond. Messamil has his hand gripped around his hound's snout in an attempt to silence the alarmed hybrid. The kid Zaprat is nowhere to be seen.
"Rexina, come on, girl, hush,"
the butcher's boy whispers to his panicked pet.
"It's gonna bark,"
the kid says.
"Put it away."
The flames along its spine flare brighter. Messamil keeps trying to calm the burn bark, but the beast is completely deaf and dumb in its bloodlust. It knows there is a towering horror in the pond. It wants to scare it off. Even with both hands around the hound's jowls, the butcher's boy barely muffles the sound.
"Put it away,"
the kid hisses.
"I don't want to die."
It stands on two hooven feet of muscle intercut with patches of feathers. Its arms are an afterthought, hooved like its legs, but hanging limp from its torso like withered saplings. With its massive beak, the beast digs around in purple-yellow viscera that was once capable of screaming. The kid takes out his H-Dex and aims it at the hooved monstrosity. The tablet acknowledges the creature as a hybrid, yet provides no description. The kid shakes the device and tries again. It withholds answers once more.
"I need help,"
Messamil whispers. The burnbark has no intention of staying silent. The flames lick at the edge of the butcher's boy's clothes.
"Put it away,"
the kid whispers back.
"That's what I need help with. Can't move my wrist. Can't put Rexina away." "What do you want me to do?" "Hold her mouth shut." "No, she'll bite me." "She won't."
The butcher's boy grabs the hound by the head and forces it to look into his eyes.
"You won't bite him, will you, Rexina? You're a good girl, right?"
The hound continues to growl and make attempts at barks, but the flames upon its back dim the slightest bit. The butcher's boy turns the burn bark so it faces him. With both of his hands clasped around the growling creature's snout, he leans over and starts whispering into the animal's ear. The flames recede further, but the hound is still wild and growling.
"See? She won't bite,"
Messamil whispers.
"If you grab her, it'll be real quick. Come on."
He remembers those mad jowls sniffing out life. His fists clench, but he pushes it down.
"Okay,"
the kid whispers, hovering his hands over Messamil's.
"Just be fast. Promise. Ready, set, go."
It feels like gripping a stove, but not being able to let go. The hound's snout is blisteringly hot. The butcher's boy moves fast, and soon enough the hound disappears in a flash of static, but the pain remains.
"Why didn't you tell me its mouth was hot?" "There's flames on her back,"
the butcher's boy whispers.
"But sorry, thank you."
The kid drives his stinging palms into the cold earth for comfort. It's only then that he notices the skin on Messamil's blistered hands is ripped and bleeding.
"What now?"
the butcher's boy asks. All trace of the gobbler is gone. Even the eye floating in the shallow end of the pond has been devoured. Content with its meal, the massive beast lays his body to rest on a burning nest of moss. The creature is mammoth and beyond deadly, but as it closes its beady eyes and drifts off to sleep, there is a rattling in its dark breaths.
"I need to think,"
the kid says, gripping fistfuls of grass and dirt in his palms to cool them.
"Maybe we can just sneak away,"
the butcher's boy says.
"Go back the same way we came."
"No," the kid says.
"We can't."
The food. The tent. The water tablets. They're all by the pond. They're all guarded by the resting horror. Even with supplies, the journey to Gorod Palma is perilous. Without supplies, the journey is suicide.
The water tablets your dad gave you, the kid says. Without them, we're dead. One of us needs to go get the backpacks.
The horror, nestled in the warm ash of the boy's campfire, starts to snore. The low hum of its rest is labored and deep, but both the children remember the fate of the gobbler far too well. Even though the horror may be in deep slumber, they know well what its beak is capable of.
Blade, rock, parchment?
The butcher's boy asks when it becomes clear neither of the boys is willing to risk their lives willingly.
Okay,
the kid responds. The first bout of the game is undecided, for the children cannot settle on the rules. When they finally agree on a count of 3, the butcher's boy wins the first round with stone against blade. The kid's blood chills with the possibility of approaching the hooved beast. Yet his unease does not last long. He wins the next 2 bouts of the game. Parchment against stone on the first draw, and again, parchment against stone on the second draw. Darn, the butcher's boy says, but he does not protest the results of the game. Instead, he gets off from his knees and squats down by the edge of the tree.
You were right about the gobbler,
the kid says, as his companion prepares to sneak into the maw of danger.
We'd be dead if he wasn't in the pond. Thanks,
Massimo says, rubbing his wrist.
Wish me luck.
The kid peers from behind a tree and watches the butcher's boy creep towards the beast. The kid watches his companion, knowing full well the next few seconds may decide whether he will live to see Gorod Palma or whether he will die alone in the forest. A cough starts to rustle in a child's throat. He swallows it. The butcher's boy fumbles and trips as he creeps towards the creature, yet the mammoth beast's snores remain unperturbed. The kid finds his fingers clawing into the dead tree. With each stumble Massimo takes, the kid tears away at the bark. It's during one of these panicked twitches of his fingers that the kid realizes something is breathing next to him. The Zaprat. It stands on its hind legs with its stubby paws resting against the dead tree. Just like the kid, it watches the movements of the butcher's boy with undivided attention. The metallic click of the HC device breaks the hybrid out of its trance, but it's far too late. In a quick flash of static, the electric rat disappears.
You'll be safer inside,
the kid whispers to his wrist. He's unsure if the creature can hear him, but he hopes it understands. Massimo's footfalls are too far to reach the kid. The snore of the terrible beast and the chirping of the birds above the tree line is all that can be heard. Right before he reaches the 2 backpacks, the butcher's boy turns around. He looks back at the kid with uncertain eyes, but forces a smile. Massimo waves to the kid. The kid waves back. Only a few steps away from the incomprehensible beast, the butcher's boy starts to put on his backpack. Crouched and nervous, he takes to the task with meticulous slowness. When the butcher's boy shoulders the right strap, the weight of the backpack threatens to pull him to the ground. It doesn't. When the butcher's boy regains his balance, he waves at the kid again. The kid waves back, relieved. His relief is only momentary, however. Once his own backpack is secured, the butcher's boy starts to creep back towards the fallen tree. The kid waves again, pointing to his own knapsack.
The journal,
the kid whispers.
Get my journal.
The butcher's boy looks back towards the sleeping terror. He looks at it for a long time. Its snore is steady and its sleep is deep. Massimo turns his head back towards the kid. Once more his face is filled with discomfort, and once more that discomfort disappears beneath a forced smile. The butcher's boy flashes the kid a thumbs up. The kid responds in kind and eagerly watches on. Massimo creeps back towards the slumbering beast with sure steps, and when the knapsack is within reach, the boy stops. He squats over the bag like a nervous bird, and then, with a thud loud enough for the kids to hear, The butcher's boy falls over. The beast's snoring stops. The kid ducks behind a tree. He waits. He waits to hear the terrible roar of that hooved nightmare once more. He waits to hear the screams and death rattles of the butcher's boy. He waits, and he listens, and he braces for death, yet no screams come. All the child can hear are birds above. He waits, and he waits, and when the wait feels too long, the kid attempts to pull himself back up to the edge of the fallen tree. His body, however, refuses. Every twitch of muscle shakes the aches in his lungs. The kid knows that if he moves, he will cough. So, he does not move. Even when the snoring of the beast resumes once more, the kid cannot rise. He can only wait and listen to the birds.
Had to leave your tent behind. Too heavy.
Massimo's voice clears the kid's lungs. When he sees the butcher's boy emerge with both bags, the child nearly bursts into tears.
Thank you,
the kid cries, nearly hugging the boy.
Had to leave behind the bottles too, but at least we still have the water tablets.
The butcher's boy adjusts his backpack. For once, he seems pleased with its weight.
Let's get out of here before the bird thing wakes up.
Yes. The path which the boys negotiated through the bushes lies beyond the hooved beast's resting place. They dare not travel it. The shrubbery in front of them, however, grows progressively thicker and veers away from the roads to Gorod Palma. The boys creep through the forest, trying to put as much distance between them and the hooved terror, yet the bushes prove too thick to cross. When they finally find a section of shrubbery which seems sparse enough to crawl through, the kid goes first. The branches rustle and scratch against the child's face, but he emerges victorious by the side of the footpath. The butcher's boy, with his large frame and even larger backpack, has considerably more trouble navigating the bushes. The hoof beast's snore are still omnipresent, but they are but a background hum to the breaking of twigs and singing of birds. In the sky above, the kid sees a familiar sight. A winged snake slitters across the sky. Before the kid has a chance to take out his H-Dex, the flying serpent is gone.
What's taking you so long?
The kid whispers at the bushes.
I think I'm stuck,
comes a quiet reply.
Need help?
The kid asks.
No,
the butcher's boy replies.
I think I have it.
The bushes rustle about again. The sound is gentle at first, but then there is a crack and a thud. The butcher's boy stops moving. The forest turns quiet.
Are you okay?
The kid asks. No response comes. Even the birds above turn quiet.
Mass, are you all right?
The kid asks. Silence. Complete silence. The realization that the hooved beast has stopped snoring makes the kid take a couple steps back.
Run!
Comes a yell from the bushes, followed quickly by the butcher's boy. His bag is off and his face is bleeding, but before the kid has a chance to make sense of his companion, another sound breaks the silence of the forest. From behind the bushes, the kid hears a terrible roar. Like a demonic rooster, crossed with a bear and raised by dark machines, the beast from the pond lets out a blood-curdling ululation. Its massive form rises above the trees. Each step the horde monstrosity takes shakes the ground beneath the children's feet.
Run!
The butcher's boy repeats, dashing by the kid. The boy doesn't need to be told thrice. Without a backpack, the butcher's boy is faster. He sprints ahead of the kid, outpacing both him and the incomprehensible beast that is in pursuit. Whenever Massimo starts to gain too much distance, however, he turns around to the kid and cheers him on. The kid can see the goodness in his companion's eyes, but he does not hear his voice. The whole world boils down to hoofbeats, roars, and the pounding of the child's heart. The first path descends into a valley. All around the children spring up formations of stone that rise up the edges of the path and challenge their footfalls. Behind them, the beast gains in both fury and speed. The kid dares not to turn around, but he can hear the hoofed terror growing closer and closer.
This way!
The butcher's boy yells as he veers off the path into a patch of grass. The kid does not think, he simply follows. Getting off the clear dirt path and into the forest provides the children with more cover from the beast's eyes, but no amount of trees can dissuade the terror's chase. Roots and rocks and mud threaten to trip the kid, but the child's steps stay true. It isn't until his attention is ripped away that he falls.
Donkey!
The kid wheezes moments before his face hits the earth. Off beyond a couple of shrubs, a little clearing, confused and burdened with dirty burlap sacks, stands a donkey. The animal does not look at the child. It looks at what is following the child. Towering above the trees, snapping its massive beak and growing closer with each fall of its muscle-bound legs, the hoofed terror approaches. The kid attempts to scramble to his feet, but he knows it is far too late. He knows he cannot escape. The beast's maw drops, but before it reaches him, the kid is shoved aside. The butcher's boy is drenched with sweat and out of breath, but he drags the kid's body away from a collision with one of the hooves. The maw of the beast is deadly, but its neck is far too muscular to give it full range of motion. The creature bends down as low as it can, searching for the children that are hiding by its hooves. It sniffs and crows and stomps, yet the children manage to stay still beneath it. With the two boys out of sight, the hoofed terror finds a new victim. In 3 short strides, the beast makes its way towards the donkey. The beast of burden scarcely looks up at the creature before it is split in two by a blood-hungry beak. The donkey's sacks hit the ground and vanish down the beast's throat soon after.
"Here,"
comes a gruff voice from a crevice of rock.
"Hide here."
The butcher's boy lifts the kid by the collar and pushes him towards the opening of rock. The kid does not resist. He pushes his body through the path of stone because he knows he will die if he does not. Mesomel follows close behind. On the other side of the rock crevice stands a man. A shoulder-mounted flashlight is their only light, but a man's smell reaches them before his voice does. The man smells like seasons of grime.
"You see a donkey?"
The man in the darkness whispers, passing the boys' faces with his flashlight. The kid nods his head.
"Good. It's safe?"
The kid shakes his head.
The thing ate it,
Mesomel whispers as he squeezes himself into the cave.
Thank you for...
"The donkey is gone?"
The voice from the darkness asks, disbelieving. Both the boys nod their heads.
"Pox!"
The darkness screams, echoing through the cave.
3 days of work gone. A pox on it. A pox on my luck and a pox on the dumb.
A dull thud. The walls of the cavern shake. The little bit of light that stems in from the outside world is blocked out by mad beak. The hoofed horror snaps and crows and growls at the trio inside of the cave. For a moment, it feels like the beast might rip away the rock that defends them, but then the cavern starts to shake more violently. A stone dislodges from the ceiling and pelts the kid's shoulder. Many more stones fall from around the crevice. The faint beams of outside sun become buried beneath a cave-in. The beast on the other side lets out horrible shrieks and pecks at the rocks, but his bloodthirst does not last for long. The ground trembles with heavy footfalls, then stills. The beast walks away, leaving the trio trapped in the cave.
"Pox!"
The voice from the darkness mutters.
"A pox on it all."
And that wraps up this chapter of Hybrid Master. Don't miss the next one. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and drop Hybrid in the comments to help this story ride the algorithmic waves. If you want instant access to all chapters, swing by patreon.com/MikeJLanger or become a channel member. You'll get early access to all episodes and your name in the credits. Huge thanks to the patrons for keeping the series alive. Bob Konderg, C.R. Iptid, Christopher Brunda, Daniel Wengel, Dante Kincaid, Mr. Creepypasta, Quiet Pills, and Koos. Stay safe, stay sane, and I'll see you in the next one.